What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 182. Today, we are back to talk NBA playoffs. Quick disclaimer before we get this episode started. We are recording this right now at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday night. It is currently 1 minute and 54 seconds left in the first half of the Grizzlies-Lakers game. So we just are letting you guys know because this obviously is not going to be out until tomorrow on Thursday. So by the time you hear this, we don't know what happened in this game, the Nuggets-Timberwolves game, and what's the other one? The Bucks-Heat game.
Yeah, Bucks-Heat game is also nice.
We don't know what has happened in those games, so if you're wondering, why didn't you talk about the crazy Bucks-Heat game? Because we don't know what happened in it, so that's why. But other than that, we basically we do know every other thing that's going on in each series. So we are here today to talk about all the series.
This playoffs, if you've been watching and keeping up, I recommend staying up for these late games. The late games have been awesome.
LeBron almost just had a crazy dunk
Last night. This is going to be one of the podcasts where we just keep mentioning the game that nobody can see. Yeah.
We're watching, yeah.
If you've been staying up for these playoffs, you have gotten an awesome playoff show. These late night games, the Kings-Warriors series has been incredible. Same with the Phoenix-Clippers series has been awesome, super competitive.
Yeah, and it just sucks that those are the two best series, both for us East Coast guys. It's late at night, it's tough. It's a late time of the year. We got a couple weeks off of the school year, so my sleep is valuable right now. It's at the highest valuable point right now, and I'm just not getting a lot of it.
Nope, not getting a lot of it. I've been tired for like a week straight. It feels like just staying up late watching hoops.
You just got to do it. So
you got to do it as an NBA fan.
This is fine because it's about to be halftime of this game anyway, so it'll be less distracting for us as we get into this. All right, so I think the first thing we need to talk about is the Warriors-Kings series with the Draymond Green, Domantas Sabonis situation. It's a little bit old now because Game 3 of this series will be tomorrow night, the day that you are hearing this. But let's talk about it. So, towards the end, about like 7 to 8 minutes left, I believe, in Game 2, Draymond Green and Domantas Sabonis, who've been battling all series, by the way. In Game 1, Draymond was laying on top of him at the end of the game. So these two guys go at it. These two are they're competitors. Sabonis has been known as a guy who plays with a lot of force, and obviously we know how Draymond is. But Draymond Green appears to be running away, trying to get into the play, or that he's kind of on top of Sabonis. Sabonis grabs him by the ankle. Draymond Green does not like that, and he stomps on Sabonis' chest, where Sabonis is injured, does end up playing the rest of the game, and Draymond Green is ejected, and now he has been suspended for Game 3 of these playoffs with the Warriors down 2-0. Could this be a costly decision by Draymond Green and cost the Warriors their season?
It definitely could. I think some people are writing this war. I've seen already the articles of, is this the end of the Warriors dynasty? I think we're a little early. They got to lose the game still before I start saying they got to go down 3-0. They're one of the best home teams. The Oracle goes crazy.
I think we kind of expected them to lose. These games.
They're terrible on the road.
Terrible on the road. Yeah.
As for the suspension and everything, I don't know how you feel about the suspension. Right. I don't like the suspension. I thought the ejection was enough, and I thought they addressed Sabonis with a technical foul, which I thought was enough. Joe Dumars came out today and said that a lot of it was the fact that he's a repeat offender. This isn't the first time we've seen Draymond do something crazy, but the Kings Sabonis has played a physical series, pulling guys to the ground, and I don't have a problem with that. And Sabonis, even after the game, had a great interview. But anyways, I think they've been egging Draymond on to get him to this point, and Draymond kind of also has to know that teams are trying to get you to do this. Teams know you're going to react like this. But I don't know, it's such a tough situation.
I feel like Draymond honestly knows that. I think he understands what they're trying to do, but that's just how he is, and he's not going to change how he is. That's how I feel like Draymond portrays himself. He really likes to embrace his ways.
Yeah, for sure. I felt that the way the NBA, I agree with looking into the past and, okay, he's done this before. He's a repeat offender, so let's suspend him for the next game. I think if Steph Curry does this, I don't think he gets suspended. I think the ejection is enough for Steph Curry, but for Draymond, the league didn't think so. But if you're going to look into the players' past, I think you should also look kind of into the future and say, we might be ending the series by suspending Draymond, which he already got ejected, already got the flagrant 2. Like, I felt like that was punishment enough. And maybe you disagree. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, well, the first thing is, it was interesting because Shams came out with a report about an hour or two before saying that it's looking like Draymond will not be suspended, and if a guy like Shams says that, I'm most likely going to believe what he says. He knows the most out of anyone reporting. So he says that, and then obviously they come out and suspend him. I really didn't expect him to be suspended because if we're talking from a NBA financial standpoint, it benefits the league to have this series go as long as possible. People are watching this series. It probably is one of the top 2 watch series right now, I would assume. They're reigning champions. This team has been a dynasty. Like, they want this team to stay in the playoffs as long as possible.
I hate
from
that
a
take.
money standpoint. So that's why I thought he wouldn't be suspended, just because, like you said, if with him being suspended, a potential 3-0 seems like it could be a big possibility. Draymond's been a huge part of this team. I mean, even I know Sabonis had a really good game too, but in game 1, Sabonis was not much of a factor.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks to Draymond and Kevon Looney, but obviously they still won the game. But yeah, this is what I think about what happened is, now take this with a grain of salt because obviously I'm a Michigan State fan. And I've been one to defend how Draymond acts in the past because, like, I that's just how I feel,
Yeah.
Obviously, if he didn't go to Michigan State, maybe things would be different. I'm not afraid to admit that. But I think what Draymond did is wrong for sure. He should not stomp on Domantas Sabonis' chest. Now, whether Sabonis, I don't want to assume that Sabonis is not actually injured because that's rude if he actually is injured because he's questionable right now.
Yeah.
But he finished the game, didn't come out of the game, trust me, I know a stomp from a 240, 50-pound dude like Draymond Green can't feel good. But you played the rest of the game.
He played.
I would assume he's going to be good to go. I think it would be unrealistic for him not to play game 3. What Draymond did is wrong, but it doesn't happen if Domantas Sabonis doesn't grab his ankle. That's how I feel. I know that there's angles that show that
him
it
grabbing his
doesn't
head.
really look like Sabonis was grabbing Draymond Green by the leg. I think if that's Andrew Wiggins, I think if that's Kevon Looney, I think if that's Moses Moody, Sabonis doesn't grab his leg. I think that it's because it was Draymond Green's situation. And a guy like Draymond Green is not going to let that type of thing slide. He's not going to let you get the last laugh. He will always get the last punch in. It's going to be, it hurts him, obviously, at times. It's hurt him a lot of times in the past.
Yeah.
But that's just how he is. He's not going to let you get the last punch in a situation like that. And obviously, it hurt him. What Draymond did was wrong, and I think that 100% the ejection was valid. The suspension, however, I don't really think it is. I think that it would just be, it's better for him to play in this game. I think the ejection was enough. It was in crucial fourth quarter time where they could have used Draymond Green. They lost the game. I think that the suspension is a little much.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's bullshit. Whether you like it or not, Sabonis grabbed him. Draymond went to pull his leg away. Whether you think Sabonis was covering his head or not, Draymond went to pull his leg away and had resistance when he went to pull his leg away. Don't care who you are, you think somebody's grabbing your ankle, especially when that person's been extremely physical and you guys have been caught on the ground multiple times already throughout the series, which because physical basketball. That's even what Sabonis said. Sabonis was asked after the game, is there any animosity between you and Draymond? And he said, no. I mean, we've been playing physical all series.
Yeah.
It's just basketball. That's all it is. And which was an awesome response from Sabonis, though he is also the reason he got suspended. But I don't think you can suspend a player for defending himself. Yes, did he retaliate too much? Yeah, but he got suspended or he got ejected in that game. I feel like that was punishment enough.
That's how I feel. And by no means, by the way, I'm not defending what Draymond did.
Yeah, it was wrong.
I know it sounds that way. What Draymond did was wrong.
Yes,
and what he did was worse than what Sabonis did, 100%. But it doesn't happen if Sabonis doesn't grab him first.
Yep.
It's that simple. So, and everyone has their own opinion on this. Obviously, I know a lot of Warriors fans think that it's the world versus the Warriors right now.
Makes no sense.
I know that Kings fans and a lot of other fans are thinking, how can anyone defend Draymond Green in this situation? Which is somewhat, I do understand that because like Joe Dumars said, I mean, this is not a first-time thing for Draymond Green. And Bob Myers came out today and said the same thing. They asked him about it, and he said, we've been through this before. This is how Draymond is. I'm not going to sit here and complain because no matter what I say, he's not playing next game. So we just have to go out and play. So we'll see how much this truly affects the Golden State Warriors in this series. Like I said, they are down 2-0. Really excited for Game 3. But what the Warriors got to change as far as, without Draymond Green, what do they have to do to potentially come back in this series,
Yeah, good point. That was important that you brought that up. I was like, we do got to talk about the basketball.
Yeah,
the basketball has been incredible. De'Aaron Fox has been unreal in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's expected. Clutch player of the year, no doubt. I think
he did officially win it today, actually.
Oh, he did. It finally came out. Yep. Jaren Jackson Jr. officially won the player, right?
Shout out Jaren Jackson Jr., Spartan Dog. And then Mike Brown won coach of the year today, too.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
yeah, the shot making down the stretch of these games has been incredible. HB feels like he's on a mission to almost like a middle finger to the Warriors. I mean, he's just balling. It's been so long. That's a joke. But I really have loved this series. I think the Warriors need to get faster. I don't know how to do that. I don't know whether that means going small ball with Kuminga at 5, but they're afraid to play Kuminga.
Yeah, he hasn't played much.
They played Moody over him last.
You maybe run Wiggins small ball 5,
Maybe, because the Kings are just getting the ball and going as fast as hell. And when you have Clay, Steph, Draymond, and Kevon Looney on the floor all at once, you just don't have the speed to keep up with that. And that's where I think going smaller might help them, but then Sabonis might just dominate. We saw him last game get really physical in the paint with Draymond and really got to his spot and had a much better game. You put a smaller defender on him, he might just keep doing that and just bully him even more. The Warriors have their backs against the wall, no doubt. Luckily, they have Steph Curry, who can just come out this next game and shoot the ball better, and all of a sudden you win a game.
For sure.
But that's, to me, what the Warriors have to do to tighten up this series.
Yeah, Warriors are back at home, so obviously that plays a huge role. Jonathan Kuminga is going to have to get some minutes with this Draymond Green suspension. I think we might see some JaMychal Green minutes in a guy who has not played very much as of late, especially in these playoffs. But they're definitely going to need guys to step up. I think it's been interesting to see like Moses Moody getting as much minutes as he has been, a guy that doesn't usually play a lot in this Warriors rotation. Dante DiVincenzo, I feel like, has been a good player. Like they've been playing him a lot in this series. But it all comes down to, Steph and Clay. It really does at the end of the day. I mean, not really, because actually Jordan Poole needs to step up. Jordan Poole is really they are going at Jordan Poole defensively. They're trying to get the switch to get Poole on De'Aaron Fox, and Fox is attacking him, and it has worked effectively for them. So the Kings, I mean, they don't really need to change much at all. Game 1, they played their game. They hit a lot of threes. They played fast. De'Aaron Fox had 38. Malik Monk went off the bench, 30-some points. But in Game 2, it was a different story. They got out to a really slow start, weren't hitting threes. They were not scoring the ball very effectively or efficiently, and they still won. So when you have a game like that and you still win, the game plan going into the next game, you have to be looking forward to the next game because you did not play well in your best facet of the game and you won still. So I'm excited to see what the Warriors do to potentially stop Sabonis without Draymond Green. Who knows? Maybe they don't do anything and they just let Sabonis cook and they try to, outscore them. That obviously could be a tactic, but it's going to be interesting to see what Golden State does.
Yeah, this series, I think I don't know if it gets better from here, though, because Warriors lose this, and it's over. The series is just, this Kings team isn't some joke of a squad.
No.
They're going to close out a series if they go up 3-0. Maybe even 3-1, I think they've got a series in the bag. That's how good they've looked against this Warriors team. They match up incredibly well. They really do. I didn't really take that into account, but Davion Mitchell's played incredible minutes last night, coming off the bench, getting 15, guarding Steph extremely well.
Playing great defense, yeah.
I'm about
Big
to sneeze.
Wings.
I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you.
Maybe not.
I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, maybe not. That was
I
torture.
blessed you for no reason.
That was torture. I should have looked at the light or something. I really hope this series gets really tight here. I want this to go back to 2-2. Let's take this thing to 7.
So I looked at the line. This was pre-Draymond Green suspension, by the way, so I would assume it's different now. I could look, but I'm not gonna. Because I was thinking, I low-key might bet on the Warriors to win this series still, I wonder how much of because most people are going to overreact and be like, they're down 2-0, it's over.
Yep.
But the people that know are like, bro, this was gonna happen. Like the Warriors suck on the road. They just got to steal one. They got to steal Game 5 or Game 7. Obviously, if they would have stole Game 1 or 2, it would have been huge. But so I was like, let me go see what the Warriors are to win this series. Like, did the books overreact? No, they were like plus 120 to win the series.
Really, still that tight.
That was pre Draymond Green suspension. I would assume it has dropped because that obviously hurts the Warriors a lot. So I didn't bet on it because like there's not much value there. I did make a bet on. I'll say my three like who wins and how many games bets I did. I did Warriors in 7. I bet on that. I bet on Suns in 6, which that obviously could happen. And then I bet on Knicks in 7. I also bet on Knicks in 7 against the Cavs. So
interesting. That's an interesting
one. They took one on the road.
Yeah, they did.
So before we're going to hop into the individual series of these things I'm about to bring up, but let's bring up another controversial topic on the podcast. Something we've been getting more into controversy here on the podcast.
Yeah, and so, I don't know what this one is right now.
Tonight, like I said, I'm going to probably say this so many times, but you guys already know that these guys aren't playing. Giannis Antetokounmpo has been ruled out of Game 2, so we're going to see how the Bucks play without him. He was injured on a charge play in Game 1, did not play most of the game. And then Ja Morant has been ruled out, obviously, in the game that we're watching right now that's at halftime. Also injured on a charge play. There has been talk on Twitter about should the charge be banned from basketball because we are seeing some injuries being taken to some of these star players and could potentially ruin these playoffs, which it could. I mean, if Giannis is out and then they lose this series to Miami, that could ruin the playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean, it really could. Not ruin it, but obviously, like, we didn't get the best product that we were supposed to. So my question is to you. I've been wondering about what you think about this. Should the charge be banned? Maybe just from the NBA, maybe from all levels of basketball?
I think that is like the craziest thought in the history of the world. I saw this argument and I was like, gotta get off Twitter. Like, Twitter has lost me. The charge is like one of the only things that keeps offensive players in check. And we've seen that this season.
Yes.
Like, do we realize that these offensive players did not get hurt on a clean basketball play? They fouled the other team's player. That is that is what a charge is. They fouled this guy. And they got hurt because they fouled somebody. And the charge is the only way for somebody who is 6'4" and under to slide in and make a play on a guy like Giannis. If Giannis is coming at the basket and you are under 6'6" and you jump with him, you probably have a good chance of getting hurt. Like, if you try to block that guy.
True.
That's where I think it is so crazy. If you do this, all it makes it a game for just bigger and bigger and bigger people. It makes the size so much more impactful. And it makes the offensive players, I don't know how you would control the offensive foul as much as these guys just putting their head down and getting to the hole. And I'm not saying that's what every charge is, but the charge is like finally, it's come back. It's here.
It's like a very important part of the NBA today.
6 years ago, we didn't see anybody taking charges
other than
like
Ersan
this.
Ilyasova.
Yes. Now, there are like 10 Ersan Ilyasovas in the league. Like, we see rookies like J-Dub come in the league and just draw hella charges. It has been awesome. I think it is crazy to think about removing the charge call because now we have a couple injuries. We've been going the whole year taking hella charges. There isn't an injury I can remember off a charge other than these ones that
I mean, there probably has been, but yeah, like you said, not really any memorable ones at the moment. Yeah, I'm in the same exact page as you here. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing to think about. If you get rid of the charge, I mean, you don't understand how more dominant guys like Giannis are going to be. That's the only reason Giannis doesn't score 60 points a game.
Only reason?
Because he picks up 4 fouls via charges every game. Like he would, and he has to play differently knowing that guys are going to take charges. I mean, we've already added the arc, the restricted area where you cannot take a charge in this area because, it could become a little OP if you could just take a charge at any point under the hoop. So they add the restricted area. I don't know when that was added. At some point it was. And I think that's a good thing.
Me too. I think it's a great barometer.
The only way I think that you could maybe change some things is the 2 plays that the charges were on John Giannis were more of a upper body charge where like they're in the air and they clip the defender's upper half, the shoulders, where they go down like that with their you can't see this if you're watching the audio, obviously, but like you're falling with your upper back first, and then you fall. which is that a true charge? I mean, legally, or I mean, by the book, yes. So I could see maybe you getting rid of that rule where if you get clipped while a guy's in midair like that, and it's not your full body, but it's hard to judge that.
Yeah, that just makes the charge call so much harder to differentiate. But I think that's a great point. Because to me, a charge is when you're really going through somebody's body.
Exactly.
You're trying to go through them. If you're jumping more vertical with a little bit of forward momentum, I think it's a lot different.
Right, and a guy like Ja Morant is trying to weave through the defense while he's in midair, because he's so crafty at the hoop. So if you just clip a guy's left shoulder, but he still gets the charge call, I can understand that. I'm not saying that should be what is the new rule, but I just saw an argument like that, and I thought that was interesting. But yeah, banning the charge would be an unreal rule to do. I mean,
the worst decision ever.
It would just be terrible. Like
what is Kyle Lowry gonna do? How is he gonna survive anymore?
I mean, that is just it's a really dumb rule. There's already a lot of dumb rules in the NBA. They don't need to add more. Excuse me. So now we can get into the series. Actually, we're not really going to talk about those two series with those guys specifically because they're happening tonight. So, I mean, we will talk about them, but we're not going to go into as depth as the other ones. Let's talk about Phoenix versus the Clippers. This has been such a good series so far. Kawhi Leonard has dominated. The LA Clippers shooting in game one was phenomenal as a lot of guys stepped up in this one. And in game two, it was pretty much just Kawhi and Russell Westbrook that scored the ball. And the Phoenix Suns were definitely played a lot better in game two to split this series 1-1. This has been a really good one so far.
Yeah, D-Book's third quarter last night was ridiculous. He had 18 and was just, I mean, you would look away, look down at your phone, and all you hear is Booker, just mid-range. I think they shot a ridiculous percentage from the mid-range. And that's where they're really tough to guard, obviously. In the first game, I think we saw a little bit of the math problem of threes are worth more than twos. And Chris Paul wasn't hitting his mid-range shots, and they were kind of giving them to him in game one. And he just wasn't hitting many of them. DeAndre Ayton's mid-range is looking awesome. This Clippers-Suns series has the making of being a great series. I wanted to pull the curtain back and go back to game one.
Okay.
Russell Westbrook has, I put it as a very impressive fourth quarter. One of the biggest plays of his career, the block into the throwing it back at D-Book into the turnover. He had multiple clutch, acrobatic-ass offensive rebounds. Shooting 3 of 20, I think.
3 of 19, yeah.
On the game. Is it possible in your eyes to still have a great game under that circumstances, knowing that you've shot 3 of 19?
I mean, to have a great game, it's tough. I mean, everyone has a different definition of what a great game is. By the way, quickly, Xavier Tillman, 7 of 8 from the field tonight. That's that Spartan dog. But anyways, I don't know I think you can be effective because Russell Westbrook definitely impacted the game in a positive way in game one. Like you said, 3 of 19, and we know the type of shots Russell Westbrook likes to put up. A lot of those 19 aren't the greatest. Not like he's missing gimmies, they're not great looks, but that's how he plays. And the Clippers have embraced that, and they say, you know what, that's how he plays, but we know he's going to impact the game in a good way at the end of the game, which he did.
He did.
I don't know about having a great game, though. I don't know if I would put it that way. I still think he was crucial for the Clippers to win that game, though. 100%. If he doesn't play, they probably lose. But I don't know if I would say he had a great game.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I would agree. The impact down the stretch was undeniable with the big plays he made. Was it in game 1 or game 2 when he shot the push floater right in front of the rim? And
that was game 1.
Zubac came under the hoop.
And I don't know I wonder if they counted that as an assist or
the
not.
Announcers counted it. They were like, oh, what a pass. And it was like, no.
It really looked like a shot.
That was a push floater he airballed from.
But in game 2, Russell Westbrook shoots over 50%.
Yeah,
he hits 2 threes. He scored over 20 points, and I don't think he missed a free throw either. He was perfect from the line. So a really good bounce back game from Westbrook because he was all over the place again. I've been really impressed by the defense in this series. Devin Booker has been all over the place defensively. In game 1, he had 4 steals and 4 blocks. In game 2, once again, he was elite defensively. The Suns have been able to switch. I know that they've been trying to, other than Kawhi Leonard, they've been effective defensively. In game 1, they sent the doubles at Kawhi, but they couldn't do it too much because all the other Clippers shooters were hitting their shots. But in game 2, they kind of went with that same strategy where we're going to kind of send a double at Kawhi, and we're but we can't let these other guys shoot. But they weren't hitting shots, and the little half fake doubles, Kawhi was beating them to it every time, and so and obviously they won game 2. So they definitely still need to figure out the defensive strategy on Kawhi going forward, because like Torrey Craig, Ivan was saying, like, you know, he really was getting cooked by Kawhi Leonard, but he is one of their better defenders. Kevin Durant has done a solid job on Kawhi Leonard, but this has been a phenomenal series so far, and I really don't know who's going to win. Like, the Suns should win, but I don't know.
Yeah, me either. And I think in this high-tempo, fast series where it's physical, every game so far has been really good. We saw a big comeback from the Suns. I mean, in game 2, it looked like the Clippers were in control of the first half.
For sure.
But I think in that kind of series where it's that tense, I think depth is going to play a massive part. And we've already seen the struggles with the Suns' depth. They lack depth so badly. I mean, I think Torrey Craig is a solid NBA player. Landry Shamet is as well. And Jacques Landale is too. But, like, these aren't guys that you want getting big-time rotational. I mean, you got Ish
Wainwright out there, like, getting defensive assignments, you know?
And that is just not the type of guy you want out there. I've also noticed KD doesn't look incredibly comfortable, which is totally understandable. I mean, he's kind of... It's tough to understand your role coming into a new team. And, like, you know, he kind of wants to just chill, but he needs to score the ball for the Suns teams to be, successful. So it's really interesting. It feels like I've never seen KD get blocked so much on a pull-up jump shot. Russ has got his number on those pull-ups. He is blocking everything on those damn pull-ups.
I think that, and the Suns have embraced KD. You know, it's not like they are not wanting, you know, they're kind of just like, we're the Suns. Like, you just got here. You know, like, they want KD to do his thing. But Booker and Chris Paul obviously still have to get going themselves, you know, and that's why Chris Paul in game 1 was not much of a factor shooting the ball, whereas last night he really had a good fourth quarter, closed out the game for them. Memphis is up 18 right now on the Lakers, man. The Lakers got to get it going. No Ja Morant.
It's always ugly when you're better without your superstar.
I mean, the Grizzlies were that last year, remember? Like, stretch, like, they were better without Ja. So
they were 10-11 this year without Ja, according to the pregame.
That sounds about right.
But that is funny. That the history is repeating itself.
By the way, calling my shot now. What just happened to Austin Reeves?
Oh, he's good.
Oh, he pushed off. Okay, I thought that was
he did the snaky leg.
Tyus Jones will be like the next dude that like signs with a new like the Jalen Brunson of next year. Like, he won't take as big of a leap as Brunson did, but like Tyus Jones will go sign with the team, be their starting point guard, and like be a really good starting point guard.
I'm trying to think of a good destination. This is the Wizards.
I don't want him to go to the Wizards, man. I would feel bad for him going.
The Pelicans, if they got rid of CJ. Though. Like, if they moved on from CJ, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't really know
but I see the comparison, because every time Tyus Jones starts, he's a baller.
I mean, Tyus Jones is also like the best like point guard in the NBA.
Yeah, assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah, 5 years in a row he's led the NBA in assist to turnover ratio.
What?
5 straight years.
That is incredible.
He does not turn the ball over.
That's incredible.
I mean, yeah, he's a backup, so obviously it's at a little bit lower of a volume than everyone else, but Dylan Brooks and LeBron going at it.
He was getting into it.
Just, we can't keep talking about this because everyone has already seen this by the time they're listening to this. All right, let's talk about the other series. The last one that we really can get in depth to before the other ones don't matter as much.
They're just not as cool.
Cavs Knicks. This has been a pretty good series so far. Game 2 was a little underwhelming. The Cavs basically dominated this from the tip. A little bit of inexperience showed for the Cavs in Game 1, but in Game 2, everybody stepped up. Donovan Mitchell didn't even have to have this big scoring game for them to dominate this game, but the Knicks stole one on the road, and they head back to the Garden for a playoff home game. It is going to be so fun to see that atmosphere in Madison Square Garden.
Now, mind you, I have only been watching basketball since like 2008, so I don't know what the 80s and 90s looked like. But I imagine, like I can't really say, but I imagine it looked like this Cavs-Knicks series. They are just beating each other up. Big men are just going at it. Mobley and Allen are flying all around the hoop. Well, Mobley actually kind of looked jittery in the first game, but he came wide awake in the second game. But they're not like shooting the ball incredibly. Last night was an incredibly low-scoring game. Right? That was this game.
The Knicks didn't score a lot, but the Cavs were pretty efficient.
Yeah. RJ Barrett's been who even is RJ Barrett anymore? He's a 8 point per game type guy. I don't know what to think of RJ Barrett anymore. But this series is interesting. This is another one of the really good ones that we look forward to all the time.
Yeah, Darius Garland had a fantastic game last night. The rest of the Cavs really, like, the one thing that the Knicks have the advantage on over the Cavs is their depth. But Cleveland had some good minutes from Danny Green played a lot in this game, which was really surprising. Just because we didn't see much of him in a Cavs uniform this season. Obviously, once he was traded there. But yeah, the Knicks had the depth element over the Cavs, but in game 2 it didn't matter. The Knicks just couldn't get it going. Julius Randle, I know he's coming back from injury, but he definitely has not been phenomenal so far. And like you said, RJ Barrett has not been the guy that can step up when Julius Randle and Brunson aren't having their best games. I want to talk a little bit about the play at the end of the game where Randle goes up for the dunk after the steal. Jarrett Allen follows him, and Randle takes a really hard fall, which he was okay. But I saw something that this was just going back to the Draymond Green thing. Chandler Parsons, he's on a podcast. I don't know what podcast, but I saw a quote from him on Twitter today where he said that if that was Draymond Green instead of Jarrett Allen in that situation, Draymond Green is ejected and suspended for the next game. What do you think about that?
It's true. I mean, that's the truth. We just saw that. Nothing happened to the play. Jarrett Allen doesn't even get a second look because Jarrett Allen's this good guy who blocks a lot of shots.
And he's a nerdy.
So it's expected. He's got an afro.
Wears dress clothes to the games.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really interesting take from Chandler Parsons. I find it more interesting that Tom Thibodeau hasn't learned his lesson. Why are you still playing your stars down at 20? And you feel differently about this, and that's okay. But you've already experienced it once with D Rose in the playoffs. Okay, so the story came out that
Randle asked to stay in
to get rhythm. Okay, I guess I kind of get it.
Because he was the only one that was still in the game. The rest was bench guys.
Yes, and they only played I think he said they only played starters only played 33 minutes, which good job Tibbs. But I don't know. At some point as Tibbs, you almost got to be like, Julius, we can do this in practice.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't the best idea. But now Julius knows himself that it's just not the best idea.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen at the end of games.
I think it's more of a why was Jarrett Allen in the game than why is Julius Randle in the game.
Also true.
But I mean, if that's Robin Lopez, maybe he does the same thing, So it's I just feel like if you're losing a game in the playoffs, you don't stop trying to keep losing until that clock hits 0,
Gotcha.
So, and you keep your best play. But I understand why you would probably want to take him out because of a potential, you need him for the rest of the series. So I see both sides of it. But yeah, this has been a really fun series. I think that the Knicks they really need to absorb this home atmosphere.
Dude, I cannot wait for playoff basketball in the Mecca again. I want to see fans going crazy. I want a Knicks win. I want the Knicks to win so I can see the post-game celebration in the streets.
Oh, man.
I want light poles on the ground. I want cars on fire. I want it all. I want Knicks basketball on top.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited to watch it. Looking at the other series, like we said, Denver, Minnesota is tonight. In Game 1, Denver dominated that game. We'll see if anything is different tonight. But like I said, I don't want to get too in-depth of it because you guys already know what happened in Game 2, and we don't. Lakers, Memphis, right now, Lakers are down they're on a little bit of a comeback right now, though, actually. They're on a little 5-0 run now that LeBron has made that free throw. So hopefully they can complete the comeback and make it close because Ja Morant's got to come back. I mean, as much as it would be cool to see LeBron and the Lakers win, Ja Morant needs to come back just for this series to be entertaining, even though Grizzlies are winning. So who knows? And then the last series that has a game tonight is Milwaukee-Miami. Giannis has got to come back, But if Miami goes up 2-0,
this series gets so crazy.
It gets interesting. Going back to Miami, I mean, but the Heat lost Jimmy though, or not? The Heat lost Hero, which is a huge loss because the Heat already struggle to score the ball so much, and they lost probably their second best scorer. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Heat play, and how the Bucks play without Giannis as well, who really steps up for them.
I mean, this is way too early to say and make a comment on, but imagine this whole time we've been thinking Denver is the 1 seed that possibly could get upset. And then we look across and the Heat might go up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks, which is crazy. I mean, Giannis is still questionable tonight.
He's out. He's ruled out today.
Oh, he got ruled out now.
Playing. Yeah.
This is huge. This is a big opportunity for the Heat to maybe keep their team alive, keep their team together. They're old. It's almost time to blow it up with these guys.
I mean, how much, what else can they do this offseason,
Yeah, I don't know. Trade.
Not a lot.
You'd have to trade young pieces, maybe. I mean, you'd have to go full rebuild. You couldn't retool and compete.
No, they can't.
They
can't come back better next year.
No, for sure.
So
there's no possible way.
And we're also going to talk about these other the teams that lost in the play-in. By the way, what they should do this offseason, what their plan is. So just a little hint at that is what we're going to talk about next. But yeah, this is going to be really. I really don't think Milwaukee loses this series. Even if they lose this game, going down 2-0. I really don't think they lose this series.
It would be crazy,
even
especially without Tyler Hero.
I think Middleton and Drew and the rest of their team, I think they can get it done without Giannis. I really do think so. So let's talk about the other two series. These are the other ones that are 2 games in, but they're just not as entertaining. The Sixers are up 2-0 on the Brooklyn Nets. These have actually been 2 pretty good games for the most part, but Philly kind of just closes them out in the fourth quarter, ends up winning by 15-20. But Joel Embiid has dominated. Tyrese Maxey has played really well. But it's been fun to watch Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson because they've both been playing really well as well.
Gotcha. I haven't been able to watch this series at all.
Yeah, it's been solid, but nothing crazy. Cam Johnson did poster Joel Embiid, so that was cool. And then the other series, the Boston Celtics are up 2-0 on the Atlanta Hawks. This has not been much of a series. Game 1 was a blowout. Game 2 was closer. But it was also on a half an hour before the Cavs-Knicks, so no one was watching.
Yeah, nobody cares.
So Boston will win this series. I will be surprised if Atlanta takes a game. And then Atlanta's got some decisions to make. This, whether Trae Young wants out or not. They got some decisions to make after this.
He was just voted the most overrated player in the NBA.
Really? Was he?
By players.
I saw that survey. Yeah, that's interesting. So, all right. Before we hop into the play-in tournament teams, what they should do, it's time for some trivia. I have some fun playoff trivia for you. So let's get into it. So I did some research today. I didn't look this up for stealing somebody else's information. I did this all on my own. So if I'm wrong, that's on me. So in the last 10 NBA playoffs, there have been 4 teams that have lost in the first round 5 times.
4 teams who have lost in the... Okay. Wow.
Lost in the first round 5 times in the last 10 seasons, going back to 2013. Obviously, this is not counting this year because no team has lost in the first round yet. So there are 4 teams that have lost 5 times in the last 10 years in the first round. Can you name me those 4 teams?
This is difficult.
It is. And also, I did every single team...
You had to go check their 10-year stretch.
Yeah, I made an Excel spreadsheet of every single team, so I know every team how many times they've lost.
That's so interesting.
Round. So
I've got one team that's just that's all I can think about because I think they're going to lose this series too, which I know it's here doesn't count. But are the Hawks?
The Hawks are not one of the teams. The Hawks have lost 4 times in the first round. There's a lot of teams that have lost 4 times in the first round. Okay,
so then let me go. Were the Hornets making playoff runs? No, they weren't making the playoffs.
2 times.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of just bottom tier teams. Miami Heat lost 1 time. That's the only time I can remember. And then 10 years ago would have been the Heatles.
Yeah, they losing in the first round. But the Heat have lost 2 times in the last 10 years.
Then there's teams that have historically bad in the playoffs, but they always make it decent, like the Raptors.
The Raptors are not on here. They have lost... Where is Toronto on here? They've lost 3 times.
Okay.
This is hard.
Yeah, maybe the Bucks.
The Bucks is close. They are also a 4-time team.
And then
okay, I'll give you a hint. Only one of these teams made the playoffs this year. But the other 3, 2 out of these 4 teams are teams that you would once you guess them, it actually makes sense. These are teams that they be making the playoffs, but they ain't making noise in the playoffs.
Okay. I'm thinking these teams, 3 out of the 4 are not in the playoffs. So the Jazz?
The Jazz is not on here. Man. They have lost 3 times in the first round. They actually have been making this. They've made the second round a lot, but they have not made the conference finals. If we did know who's lost in the second round the most, they would probably be the top team.
Yeah, facts. This is going to be... Is Detroit up there?
No, they've only twice.
Okay, I just knew the Blake Griffin year where they lost in the first round.
The Drummond KCP year.
Oh, yeah. That
was a good one, too.
Was that also versus LeBron?
That was LeBron. The Blake Griffin year was the Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I haven't gotten a single one of these yet. The Hornets?
No. I already told you the Hornets was twice.
Oh, yeah, okay. So only one team is currently, and all I can think of is playoff teams because they're all that matter right now.
2 teams in the East, 2 teams in the West.
Is the team that's in the playoffs right now in the West?
No, the team that's in the playoffs right now is in the East.
The Bulls?
The Bulls are not in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, duh. Yeah, I've literally got notes written down.
The Bulls are a three-timer as well. The team that is in the
God.
playoffs right now is like also going to lose again in the first round this year.
So the Nets.
It is the Nets, yes.
Okay.
The Brooklyn Nets have lost 5 times in the last 10 years. A lot of those came early in the cycle.
Did the Orlando Magic?
The Orlando Magic is not on here. They are only lost in the first round twice.
Oh, I thought they would have made it more with Vooch.
I kind of expected them to be on here because I tried to guess them before, and they were one of the teams I thought.
Rockets?
Not the Rockets.
That just didn't even make any sense.
Not the Rockets. Okay, so the team that is really expected is like this team is always in the playoffs. Like every year, both of
The Pacers.
The Pacers is one of them, yes.
Middle of the pack team.
Exactly. They're always in the playoffs, but they will lose in the first round. This other team is just like them.
Trailblazers?
The Portland Trailblazers, yes.
Why did it take this description for me to just boom?
Exactly. Dame Lillard, he'll get you to the
classic.
playoffs, man, but he ain't going to go far.
Okay, so now I'm missing one team.
One
in the West.
team. One hint I will give you is I know for a fact that 2 out of these 5 happened recently.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to think of the team.
And you would remember these series, them losing in the first round. They lost to the same team 2 years in a row. I don't want you to think about that too hard.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of teams that.
This team's also like never been bad really in our lifetime. They're always solid.
The Pelicans?
Not the Pelicans.
I remember they made it with Rondo and AD, and they lost.
Pelicans are 2 times in the last 10 years.
That was with Boogie. Another team. So
This team's not in the playoffs this year. Should have made the playoffs this year.
Mavericks?
The Mavericks, yes.
That is not a team I would have expected.
Yeah, because they lost twice with Luka, the Clippers, in Luka's first his second and third year in the NBA. And then before that was just like they'd get in. But
because of Dirk, basically.
Yeah, because
right?
of Dirk, yeah. So
that was
that's
interesting.
Your 4 teams.
That was interesting. I did not. You know how sucky it would be to be the Pacers fan? It's almost as bad as being a Pistons fan, but at least they made the playoffs. Like, we were a middle of the pack team who was like
but
the
only
9
made it twice.
Like, we were always
Exactly.
the 9.
And then a quick side trivia that I also made for this. There was 3 teams that have 0 losses in the first round over the last 10 years. Who are they?
Cleveland.
Cleveland is one of them, yes. The other 2 are on the opposite side of this.
Golden State.
They did in like 2014, like right at the beginning.
Okay.
They're like on the opposite side of this.
The Suns?
The Suns,
Because
yes.
they've only made it to 2.
They only made it to 2, exactly.
Yeah,
And the other team should be
the
pretty
Kings.
easy. The Kings, yes.
Because they haven't even
Exactly.
made it.
They haven't like that's the worst right there.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
you're
man.
going to have the opportunity to lose in the
I don't
first
know,
round.
though. Are they 100% or 0%? That's the 0 for 0, 100.
Well, they just have 0 first round losses.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's good for them. So, NBA drafts coming up. We did the last 10 picks of the Lions. I don't know how many NFL teams you could do with their last 10 first-round picks, but you can do NBA
Oh, yeah,
teams.
and that's why I wanted to do NBA, yeah.
I've got you, the last 10 players, and I am going... There are 2 guys in here who I didn't even know were drafted by the Bulls because I never played for the Bulls. So I'm doing only guys that played their first year with the Bulls because there are a couple guys in here who are a little weird. So it goes all the way back to 2011.
Okay.
Starting in 2022.
Do you want to like say what we're doing really quick?
We're doing the Chicago Bulls last 10 first-round draft picks.
Okay. So the Chicago Bulls last 10 picks. All right. So this is going to be interesting. So you have Dalen Terry this past year.
Yeah, do you have a pencil
Yeah, I
right
do.
there?
I thought I have one in here. I should have one in here. I don't have one in
Maybe
here.
not. I'll keep mine. I'll keep it in
I
mind.
have a pen though. Like I don't know where my pen is. Whatever. All right.
all right.
Dalen Terry. Oh, there's one right there. Let me grab it. I see it.
Stalling. No dead air on podcast.
All right, there we go. Okay. So we have Dalen Terry from this past year. Before that, I know I'm skipping some right now, but like Patrick Williams,
Yep.
Kobe White,
Yep.
Wendell Carter Jr.,
Yep. You've gotten the last 4 in history.
Lauri Markkanen.
No. I wonder if he was a traded pick.
I think Lauri Markkanen was traded pick, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I think
He must have been.
No, you're right. He was the
he was the Cavs pick?
No, I'm trying to think. He was the Timberwolves with Jimmy Butler trade. No, that was Chris Dunn. Is Chris Dunn on here?
Mm-mm.
Okay, that makes sense that Chris Dunn's on here. Marketing probably was traded pick, but I'm just trying to think what trade he would have been.
Me as well.
Okay.
Because when you said that, I was like, yeah, duh, Lowry, but he's not on here.
Okay, gotcha. So I got the last 5 right now, or the last
four?
Okay.
They didn't have a first-round pick in 2021.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Franz Wagner. Okay, so what year am I back to?
You're on 2018. They had 2 first-round picks. You got Wendell Carter. Second guy's a little bit tougher. I wouldn't go him.
Oh, is it Troy Brown Jr.?
It is not.
Is he on here though?
No.
Is it Chandler Hutchison?
It is Chandler Hutchinson.
Okay.
I even wrote down what college he went to because I was like, I don't know if Skunk's going to be able to get that. That's a crazy pull.
I know my Chandler Hutchison knowledge.
2017, it was Justin Patton. He didn't play a year for the Bulls, so that year's a wash.
Yeah, he was traded to like Minnesota or something.
So now you're on 2016.
So I know this is further than 2016, but like Gary Harris ain't on here, right? Because like he was technically drafted by the Bulls, but
yes, I put both him and Yusuf Nurkic on here, but they were both instantly traded on draft night.
Okay.
Same draft too, 2014.
So they do count, or
no, they don't
okay,
count.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
No, they don't count.
Okay. I know I'm going back here, and I might be going back too far for last 10, but like Doug McDermott, is he on here?
No.
Okay.
I think he would have been 2010.
Probably a little bit too far.
I don't know if he's too far.
No, he definitely would have been like 13 or 12 or something.
He isn't 13 though.
But he probably was a draft. He probably was a trade. I mean, on draft.
Oh yeah,
there's
probably.
a lot of guys that are like that. So, okay.
The rest of these guys are all notable Bulls players. You only have like these guys in my head. I all think of them as Bulls.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Is Bobby Portis on here?
Yes, he is. 2015.
Oh no, I was gonna guess Noah Vonleh, but he was Charlotte Hornets. Yep. I'm pretty sure, or Charlotte Bobcats. Okay.
And you did skip from 2018 to 2015. There's one player in between in 2016.
2016. So I'm missing 3 guys.
4. You're missing 2016, 2013, 2012, and 2011.
Okay. I got Bobby Portis. 2016. So that would have been 2016. That was like Ben Simmons' draft, I think. I believe that was that draft. Do you know like where this guy was picked in the draft?
Yeah, I've got the number 14. In 2016, he was drafted 14th overall.
Okay.
This guy was good. Good college player.
Good college player.
Really good college player.
Oh, Ryan Arcidiacono, is he on here?
No. I think he was a second-round pick.
He must have been, yeah.
This guy was
was later than
way
that
better than Ryan Arcidiacono in college. Like
That's
way
tough to
better.
Like way better.
Like I think this guy was National Player of the Year.
Denzel Valentine.
Denzel Valentine.
Yeah, runner-up for National Player of the Year. Okay.
Now you go back to 2013.
Man, Denzel was such a bad. I had hope for Denzel in the league, dude. I really did. Okay, so 20. What I'm saying, I'm going back to.
You're at 2013, 2012, and 2011. They had 3 straight years.
Is Jimmy Butler one of them?
Yes, Jimmy Butler is 2011.
Okay, because I didn't know if he was 2010 or 11, so that's nice to get him out of the way.
These next 2 guys are just not near as good players. One of them is 2K legend for the Bulls, for us. Like you and I remember this guy. He probably has a staple in our heart because of 2K.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, see, I have a lot of guys that are like that, so it's tough to like filter them out from just the Bulls. 2012, 2013. Okay, are either of these guys still in the NBA?
One of them is.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm 95% sure.
Okay, so that means like he's not like a good NBA player.
No. He's got some bad stat lines, and like the history of basketball, he's got some bad.
Oh yeah, Tony Snell.
It's Tony Snell.
Yeah, was he the 2K legend guy?
Okay, he's also the 2K legend. Okay, gotcha. This next guy was like a backup point guard his whole career.
Okay, backup point guard his whole career.
And probably only played for 6 years.
Yeah, and no longer in the NBA.
Nope, has a brother that's currently in the NBA.
Ooh, okay. Oh, it's Jerian Grant.
No.
Oh, it's not Jerian Grant. I don't know if he got drafted by the Bulls.
This guy's brother is also a point guard. Is he still in the league? Is his brother still in the league? His brother might be recently out of the league, but he was just in the league.
Okay. Okay. God, I can't.
Much better point guard, all-star point guard.
I can't get my head off of Jerrion Grant, dude. He's stuck in my head. 20. What pick was this guy?
19.
Okay.
I think.
See, like, it only really helps me if they were like
top 10
or lottery picks.
I don't know if you're gonna like get this. I should have written down the college for this guy, but I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. You might as well just give it to me. I don't think I'm gonna get it.
It's Marquise Teague.
Oh yeah, Marquise Teague. Yeah,
Marquise Teague.
Yeah,
is Jeff Teague still in the league?
Marquise Teague's from Kentucky. Jeff Teague, I don't think is still in the league. No, I don't believe he is.
I couldn't remember if he was like sitting on a bench for like I didn't know Daly was still in the league.
Yeah,
until I was watching the game the other day.
Yeah, he actually like played a little bit this year for the Kings, which is hilarious. Yeah, I don't think Jeff Teague is still in the league though.
I don't think he is either. Like when I said it, I thought to myself, I was like, is he? Like I haven't seen him.
Okay, so now like I really want to find out this Lauri Markkanen
debacle.
Like this thing with him, because I'm just going to look up his basketball reference. I think he was part of a trade. I just can't rember what trade.
Doug McDermott would be an interesting one too, because he was drafted by the Bulls.
I think Doug McDermott was the one with like Gary Harris and Yusuf Nurkic. Like I think they traded both of those picks to move up in the draft to draft McDermott.
I think that's exactly what happened.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Wow, what a bad trade.
Yeah. Lauri Markkanen was drafted 7th overall by the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2017.
Gotcha.
But Chris Dunn was the guy that was drafted by 5th overall by the Timberwolves. So they traded. That's got me confused.
Yeah, how'd they get that pick?
Why did they get? And why would it still be the Timberwolves, you know?
Like, was Taj Gibson traded after in a separate deal?
Because why wouldn't Franz Wagner be considered drafted by the Chicago Bulls, you know? Like, if like, it's a pick that was traded a year later or whatever, you know? Like, let me see what they say about Franz Wagner. Yeah, it says you drafted by the Orlando Magic. It's really weird.
That is so weird.
Okay, let me actually just look up Markkanen's, like, transaction history. I know that we are just like we're
on a tangent.
Going on an absolute tangent.
If you're a huge basketball fan, but if you love this.
If you're wondering,
you love this.
Okay, June 22nd, 2017, drafted by the Minnesota Timberwolves with the 7th overall pick. Traded by the never mind. I'm stupid. Chris Dunn played a rookie year on the Timberwolves and then was traded to the Bulls after that.
Gotcha.
So it was the night that Markkanen was drafted.
It was that night.
Chris Dunn played his rookie year with Minnesota. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what it was. I totally forgot that Dunn was.
I forgot.
I played.
I forgot Dunn played a year for the Timberwolves as well. Mm-hmm. That's not surprising.
Looking back, dude, this is quite the trade. Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, and the 7th overall pick, which was Markkanen, for Jimmy Butler and Justin Patton. So
wow. I mean, low key, the T-Wolves got fleeced.
Yeah, but like also like Markkanen never became that dude, and Chris Dunn didn't. Never. But like Zach LaVine is still on the Bulls, and Jimmy Butler was on the T-Wolves for like a year. So
I was big on Chris Dunn. Like I was a believer.
I liked Chris Dunn.
I thought he was going to be clamps. I thought he was like going to be a really nice guard in the league.
So look out if you follow us on TikTok. Look out for those videos. I'm going to post those draft videos more closer to the actual draft because I think that. People will like them. It'll be more popular during that time as well. So we'll be doing more of those throughout these next couple episodes. All right, let's get into some talk about these teams that lost in the play-in tournament and what their offseason is going to look like. Starting off with the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have been in a weird situation. They've been really bad for the last 6, 7, 8 years post Jimmy Butler era. With we were just talking about that with Lauri Markkanen and Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine. Finally, last year they make their first really good season in quite some years. They were the 1 seed in a loaded Eastern Conference for most of the year. Kind of fall off at the end, end up being the 6th seed and losing 5 games to the Milwaukee Bucks. And then this year they missed the playoffs entirely by losing in the play-in tournament in a really down year. Currently, Nikola Vucevic is an unrestricted free agent. Patrick Beverley is an unrestricted free agent, and then you have Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu, who are both restricted free agents, which I've heard that Ayo Dosunmu is going to probably get paid by another team, and the Bulls probably won't be able to pay him. So really interesting offseason coming for the Bulls because they are in a position where they could blow it up if they want to, but they easily could run it back with this team and try to be good again. Zach LaVine is under contract. DeRozan has another year, but Vucevic is a free agent. However, Lonzo Ball is going to be missing the whole year as well, which is a key part of their team. So what do we think the Bulls got to do this offseason?
The Bulls are crazy interesting because it's a terrible sign to be in win now mode and miss and lose in the plan.
Right.
They're
probably the only team in these four that are like that.
Yeah, like you shouldn't even be in the plan with the type of roster they've constructed. I think it's time to blow it up. However, if there's like some crazy situation where Damian Lillard requests a trade and you can package, P. Will and maybe a couple other guys and go out and get D-Lil, like then you do it and you try and compete again. I still don't think you have a championship team. I think it's a good idea to look and really explore the options of trading DeMar DeRozan. I think it's good to explore the options of Zach LaVine as well, even though he's on the younger side. But I think it's okay if he was to be traded. When we see him, like Zach LaVine in killer mode is tough. Like that guy.
Yeah, he had a really good playing tournament.
He's great at basketball, and he's got that killer instinct. But sometimes it just feels like Zach LaVine's lacking that, unless he's playing the Pistons. Then he's got it for sure.
Dude, if he's playing the Pistons, it's easy 40-piece every time.
And I was thinking of some fun trade destinations that I think might be possible. I don't know. The one I thought of was the Knicks right away. I think DeRozan or Zach LaVine would be interesting. They've got RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin. They've got picks. They've got Quickly, who I don't think they would deal away. But the other team I think would be awesome for a Zach LaVine destination. This team has said that they're going to try to slow down with the trades, but the Brooklyn Nets would be awesome with Zach LaVine. McHale, Zach LaVine, and Nick Claxton, I think, is a pretty good trio moving forward.
Nice core, yeah.
McHale really helps. I think he could motivate Zach LaVine to play a little bit more defense. McHale can go back to playing a little more off the ball, even though he's been great with the ball recently. But I think that's a really interesting destination. But I think this Bulls team just needs to blow it up and go in a different direction. More than anything.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see the same team run it back because we know what the outcome is. It's a first-round exit or you're missing the playoffs. You're probably not doing much more than that unless you get a lucky first-round series.
Right. Yeah, I think that they need to blow it up. Will they blow it up? I really don't think so. I think even if they lose Vucevic, I really do expect them to... I've already seen the rumors that they're looking to shop for their next point guard to basically be the Lonzo Ball for next year. Like, who's going to play that point guard? Is it Tyus Jones? That could be the spot for Tyus Jones.
That could be.
But yeah, Vucevic, I think you really do elect to not bring him back. Vucevic's got to be 32, 33 at this point. The Vucevic trade really was an L of a trade for you. It sucks to say. I respected the move at the time because you got to do what you got to do, but it is not looking like the best trade right now. Kobe White, I assume he will be gone. He just hasn't been the player that they expected him to be in Chicago. But with DeRozan under contract, he does only have a year left on that deal. But with re-signing Zach LaVine, I don't expect them to blow this up by trading those two away. However, if you did, it would be a smart move. But the Bulls GM, Carney Shovas, he's been there not very long. I think this is his second or third offseason there. So you don't see many GMs take over, try to go win now, and then really shortly after try to just blow it up and convince the fan base that that's what they're going to do. So I expect them to make some signings in offseason that are decent, try to run it back. Maybe they make the playoffs, but like you said, we all know they're not going to make any noise. So
yeah, they're frauds. That's what they are.
Basically. The next team, the Toronto Raptors, they're in a much more interesting spot because this team is pretty good. They have a lot of good players. However, Fred VanVleet is a free agent via a player option, so he could be on the team. He could opt out. Gary Trent Jr. is another guy that has a player option. I think it is already expected that he will opt out of that contract. And Jakob Poeltl, who they traded a first-round pick for at the trade deadline, I think they traded their first this year, I'm pretty sure, is unrestricted free agent. So losing potentially 3 starters on this team where you still do have Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and others under contract. Raptors are in a really, really interesting spot because this is a team we have never seen blow it up.
Yeah, I mean, what's their GM's name? How can I think of his name?
It's Mirai Ujiri.
Yeah.
Masai Ujiri.
Yeah, there you go. He's never been one to blow it up. He's always retool, and we're going to come back next year, and then we're going to continue to do it until we can trade for Kawhi or something, whatever. The rumblings are that Nick Nurse is out. which is just, it's crazy to me how quickly they go through Coach of the Years. I mean, they get a Coach of the Year true. And they get rid of him. It's the weirdest thing. But Nick Nurse, it's not working all of a sudden. Hey, the 6'8" switch everything isn't working all of a sudden.
The idea, like, I do love the idea.
I love it.
Like, I really do, but it don't work.
In theory, and like as a basketball coach, I think it's such an interesting experiment, but like it didn't work. And maybe they shouldn't. I don't think they had the pieces necessarily, but for me, this offseason needs to look like get a center. Get a center that you can lock down for years.
Unless Jakob, if he's that guy, yeah.
If you can re-sign Jakob, great move. He needs to be on the Raptors for a long time, but re-sign him for 4 years.
Right.
Place him next to Pascal. Fred VanVleet, I think there's a little more flexibility there. I wouldn't mind if they moved on from him. I think Gary Trent's going to get a bag this offseason. I think he's worth a bag. And Fred VanVleet, I really do think he should opt into his player option. Like, I'm not sure he'd get more money if he opts out. I'm not sure a different team
unless
would
he's just looking for
money.
More longevity of a contract. Again,
maybe.
Like,
yep.
Playing back to back, like prove it years, I guess is can be tough on a player. So
yeah, definitely, especially mentally. But like, I don't see a great destination for Fred VanVleet. And if you do re-sign him, it's like anybody's trading them. So are you
screams
just like,
Miami Heat? I guess they did that with Kyle Lowry already. So
they can't do it again. Yeah. So I don't know what options this team has other than run it back with some minor changes, with like hopefully going more into like the losing mode. But that's not something we've seen the Raptors do ever. We've never seen this team be a bad team.
Except when they got lucky in the lottery and got Scotty Barnes, And they could get lucky in the lottery this year. Who knows? But
I don't think there's many options for the Raptors this offseason.
Yeah, the Raptors, I think Fred VanVleet is probably gone. If you do bring him back, it's cool, but probably not on the biggest contract. I wouldn't want to. But like you said, I don't know what the market is for Fred VanVleet. I don't know who really wants Fred VanVleet at this point in his career. He's definitely still a good player, 100%. I mean, he was an all-star two seasons ago, so he's still a great player. But I don't know if you want to go get more of a true point guard or you want to go get some more size at the point guard. Gary Trent Jr., he screams Dallas Maverick to me. He screams that Mavs are going to overpay for a guy like him, which, it would be a good pickup. I don't know if it'll happen, actually.
I don't know if it'll work.
He will get a bag. Jakob Poeltl, like you said, I think you do try to bring him back if you're the Raptors. But you're in a weird spot because do you look to explore a trade with Pascal Siakam or with OG Anunoby? That these are two guys, especially OG, that was in trade talks all last offseason. And it was like, the only reason OG hasn't been traded yet is because, like, we don't know what's going to happen with, like, KD. And then OG never gets traded. And then at the trade deadline, it was like, the only guy that's going to get traded is OG Anunoby. And then everyone else got traded, and he didn't. So does that mean he for sure is not getting traded because we've already fall for it twice? Or do I fall for it again where, like, some team is willing to give up 3 picks for OG Anunoby? Remember that talk?
Yeah.
What team is that?
Who was it?
Was it the Knicks? Like, maybe. Was it the Pistons? I hope not. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Raptors do, but they do have options, which is good. If this team really could run it back, and they would have a better chance than the Chicago Bulls, I feel like. So
I would
at
totally
least you have
agree.
that advantage there. So these next 2 teams out of the West, much better scenarios than the East playing losers. First, starting off with the New Orleans Pelicans, your only big free agents. You have Jackson Hayes, who is restricted, which still isn't even that big one. There's other guys, by the way, for the other teams, but they're just not notable. And then Herb Jones is a free agent since he was a second-round pick. He only gets a 2-year deal, rookie deal, so he will be a free agent, but I would expect the New Orleans Pelicans to give him a bag and extend him into the next coming years.
What a bag looks like for his caliber, for his role.
It's got to be like at least like a 12 to 15. That'd be my guess. Yeah,
his role as a defender. So I think they have to look at that and say, you can't pay a defender $38 million.
But he also is a starter. Like he's not like he's just strictly a defensive guy. I mean, he's a starting caliber player. So
yeah, I'd say 12 to 15 is a great number for him. This team. I mean, you have one job, and that's get Zion on the floor.
Yeah.
Get him playing games, whether it be 55, 20, make him play in the playoffs. He has to be ready come next playoff season. And I don't know who was talking about it. It might have been Kenny. But somebody was mentioning, like, get him on a schedule. Get him on you're going to play these 4 games, and then we have a back-to-back, and you're not going to travel with us. You're going to sit at home. You're going to play 3 games. We're going to get you by the end of the year playing 65 games with proper load management. Like, we're going to schedule it out early before everything, so you can play in these games, because he's got to play. We always talk about availability, best ability, and the guy doesn't play basketball.
No.
And since he's gotten to New Orleans, there's been the rumors of him getting out of New Orleans, and we don't know why. This New Orleans Pelicans team is built well. I think he should be screaming to come back, trying his hardest to get back as fast as possible, but he just doesn't feel like Zion, whatever that really means. I find his case so interesting. That's the one thing the Pelicans got to figure out. And other than that, the ceiling is the roof for them at that point.
Dillon Brooks obviously just hit a crazy 3, or not a crazy 3, but just a 3 on LeBron and was just in his ear. Look at this, dude. I mean, he cashes this 3 and is just all in LeBron shit, dude. Like, that is just, dude. God, I hate Dillon Brooks, man. And then he just followed LeBron on a 3, which is hilarious.
He was LeBron was trying to post him up, and Dillon Brooks was getting physical. It was awesome.
So, the Pelicans, they are in a good spot, but it just comes down to Zion. You know, I understand the whole, like, mental thing, because it's got to be tough for a guy like him who knows that he's as good as he is, that just is struggling to get on the floor. I mean, I imagine he wants to play games, you know, like, I don't think he's just like, these playoffs, they're not for me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I really don't. I feel like that as a guy that's as good as him at basketball, why would you not want to play?
And it showed how competitive he is. When he plays ferocious.
Yeah, exactly. So I really don't want him to be, you know, I've just seen the Greg Oden thing way too often, and it's tough, dude, because, like, I mean, he's heading in that direction, you know, where if he has like another year like this, it's not looking great for Zion. I really hope he can play with the level that Brandon Ingram played at towards the second half of the season. You need to take advantage. CJ McCollum has been good as a Pelican. They do have a lot of young pieces still. They have the Lakers pick this year. Like, they have assets. They can make more moves if they want to, but really, the moves you make doesn't matter. It matters if Zion plays. Mm-hmm. So that's what they got to figure out. But they will be back next year. Next year is the year this team, like, makes the playoffs.
Yeah, they need to make.
I mean, they made it as the 8 seed last year, but, like, they make the playoffs next year. They have to, because this year they were really good to start the year. So
we could maybe see them take, like, a team spot like the Warriors. The Warriors might be out of the playoffs next year.
True.
With everything that might go on. I mean, Clay wants a max extension.
Yeah.
Draymond probably is gone.
It's the end of the Warriors dynasty.
Maybe.
Should that be the title of this episode? Is this the end of the Warriors dynasty?
Our first ever clickbait title.
Or should it be that, or should it be, should the charge be banned?
No, we aren't doing that.
Or will injuries ruin these NBA playoffs? We need one of those two. One of the injuries one, or the Warriors. I think the Warriors one is good.
Something about Draymond.
Yeah, we could do something.
I like the Warriors dynasty because it's just too extreme.
Because it's also about Draymond too,
and it's overreacting.
Oh yeah,
we don't
believe that.
It's overreacting already.
Last one is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have 0 notable upcoming free agents. Dario Saric is the only one, which they got a pick to trade for him at the trade deadline. They have nothing, no free agents, except they got to sign their rookies that they draft. That's about it. They have 2 first-round picks in this year's draft, their own, and then the LA Clippers first-round pick. This is just, I mean, once again, this Thunder team is scary going into next year. I mean, I am scared of them, and I am so jealous of what they got going on over there in Oklahoma City. The starting 5 young core of Shea, Giddey, Dort, J-Dub, and going to be Chet Holmgren, and then you're going to add another lottery pick, and maybe you trade up. Maybe this is the year where you're like, screw it, now we make the crazy trade.
Here's my 20 picks.
Yeah, I mean, the next superstar that wants out, they got to be all over it. I mean, like Jaylen Brown, dude.
Oh my word! If they don't commit to him.
But the Boston probably doesn't do a trade for Jaylen Brown or like him.
They can't get picks.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need picks. They need a guy that's still gonna like help them. So just the next star though that wants out, OKC is gonna be all over them. Like
they have to be. They're running out of roster space.
I mean, they have the most assets. I'm so jealous. Like what Sam Presti has done, really. Now that they've actually had the year where they've taken the leap without their number 2 overall pick, without even more picks that they have coming, like it really is like he's playing 2K out there. Like it's awesome, and it's so cool to see, and God, I want it. I want that on my team.
He feels like he's a mastermind. It feels like he's literally, like you said, playing a video game. He's messing with the other GMs. He's getting off the phone and laughing and click, boop. Yeah, watch what I have. I traded for Shea in my first, I don't know if it was first year, but he has just made move after right move. And maybe they get Victor Wembanyama this year.
Oh, that'd be bad.
That'd be terrible.
Don't do that. I mean, that's too far.
That'd be the worst thing ever. This team would be unstoppable. I think Bradley Beal would be a cool option on this team. I think
that's an interesting one.
Zion Williamson.
that one would make more sense
because the big
just because he's young too. Like he can continue to grow with them. The Beal ones. I honestly don't think they would trade for Beal.
It'd have to be in a win now move. It'd have to be in like he's our last.
Plus,
piece.
they also have like like 4 of their starters are all guards already. And then like you add Bradley Beal to the mix. Like obviously like Dort and Giddey and J-Dub are all like bigger, thicker. I mean, Shea too, obviously. Like
I can't think of their backup, Trey Mann.
Yeah, but he don't really play too much anymore.
Really?
Yeah, but we'll see what they end up doing. Okay, and then I wanted to do this before we end this episode. The Lakers are coming back, by the way, which is really cool. I want to do a tankathon spin for the Pistons because we need to talk Pistons. Pistons fired Dwayne Casey, or not fired. He'll be moving to a front office role, which is really interesting. But we need to have a next head coach of the Detroit Pistons. That is something that we have not really talked about yet because last week's episode, it was right as that happened. The front runners right now is Charles Lee of the Milwaukee Bucks, who I want personally to be the coach of the team. There's been some Jerry Stackhouse talk. He's currently Vanderbilt's head coach, but obviously a former Piston. Ime Udoka is going to be in that talk, obviously. Like he's going to be in all head coaching talks. Chris Quinn of the Miami Heat, he's been in talks as well, but I wouldn't mind bringing a first-time coach in to be the coach of the team.
Yeah, me either. I think Charles Lee is an awesome idea with what the Bucks have done. I think we need a coach who's going to come in here. The guys are going to get behind him, and they're going to play defense.
And he's young, too. Like he can grow with this team as well.
However, if we want a proven guy, it would be really cool to get Udoka. You want to talk about a guy who gets teams playing defense?
That's that guy. I mean, imagine beef stew with him, with his intensity on the sideline.
It'd be awesome. Ime would be really cool. Obviously, there's the elephant in the room you have to address if we ever were to sign him. So I think that actually maybe steers us away.
I think it does too because also the Pistons had an issue like that this year with one of their assistant coaches. He was let go for the same exact situation as Ime Udoka. So I feel like they would stay away because of that. Like, it's kind of like a little bit of hypocrisy.
Yeah, and the Pistons have been very drama-free under Troy Weaver. It's been very... Even like Dwayne Casey stepping down wasn't a dramatic
not
thing.
At all.
It wasn't, I'm pissed at the...
It wasn't like Steven Silas who got fired in the third quarter of their last game.
Yeah, facts. Like this was it's been totally well-run organization, so I don't see them bringing in Ime.
So we'll see what happens with the head coach. Obviously, I don't think it will happen anytime soon. Like, I think by the time our next episode happens, they still won't have a new head coach.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to rush this right now. But they've been interviewing a lot of people. They've also interviewed 2 of our assistant coaches, which is cool. Because Rex Kleiman, who's been the assistant coach for the last 2 years, he coaches... I'm gonna get his country wrong, so I don't know what one, but whatever country he's from, he coaches their national team. And he's done a good job with them over there.
That'd be cool.
And he filled in for Casey a couple games last year when he was dealing with stuff off the court, and the players really enjoy him. So that would be interesting.
I love a EuroLeague style coach.
Let's do a lottery sim on Tankathon. Basically, we are going to spin this, and it is going to tell us what exactly the lottery is going to be. I really think so. One time only. So
please.
Let's get into it. Boom. Sim the lottery. Oh, boy. So the Charlotte Hornets win the lottery. The Chicago Bulls jump all the way from 11 to 2. The Dallas Mavericks jump all the way from 10 to 3. And the Detroit Pistons fall to pick 4, followed by Houston, San Antonio, Portland, Orlando, Indiana, and Washington. So the team that got screwed here the most actually is the Pistons, Houston, and San Antonio falling to 6, man.
That's so terrible.
What an L. If Dallas moves up in the lottery and gets 1 or 2, that is the last straw. That is like the NBA. I will never forgive you for doing this.
It's rigged.
I mean, yes, obviously. Like, God, that would be. Oh, I would be very, very upset.
It's just because, like, what did they do to earn that? Like,
No.
they have been mediocre, ran a shit franchise for a few years now.
You would think you would make it rigged, but like Adam Silver really is not messing with what the Mavericks did. Like they got fined $750K for sitting Kyrie and Luka, which is quite the fine. Like it is definitely a huge fine, and like he is not cool with the tanking thing. Like he does not like it. So I really think even if they did like move up, he would be like, all right, like let's just redo it. Like,
yeah, maybe you just auto 14 them. Just bottom of the lottery. You guys should be there anyway.
Well, if they fall there, then that means like the teams behind them like move up, which would be bad for us.
It'd be bad.
Yeah. So like really maybe bad. They just stay where they are.
Yeah, you're right. So what is that? 13?
10, I think. I think they 10? Have 10, which their pick is top 10 protected. So like if they do fall out of that, if they really want to screw them over and like they get 11. But then that team would move into the top 4, which would be scary for us. So
we're getting the first overall pick. Well, no, we're getting the fourth.
We're not getting the first.
We're getting the fourth.
Yeah, I just said it. Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot this actually and see how accurate it is come draft time. All right, before we end today's episode, let's talk about the Tigers and baseball because we promised we're gonna talk about baseball. Boom. The Tigers were on a heater. They were winners of 5 straight. However, they lost today's game against the Guardians, but they still won the series. They almost made it 4 straight walk-off wins today, as they were down 3-0, but Torkelson hit a homer in the 7th. Zach McKinstry, Chippewa legend, hit him in a home run, his first home run as a Tiger in the 8th, and they were down by 1, and it was like they had 2 singles to lead off the bottom of the 9th. It was like, oh my God, dude.
It's happening.
They're going to do it again, and then they didn't. But Tigers 7-10 now after being the worst team in the league to start the year. They've made a slight comeback, which is cool to see. I just don't know how long it's going to last.
Oh, this team's for real. Yeah. I mean, I'm biting. I'm drinking to the Kool-Aid.
Okay.
This team is for real. When you bench your highest paid player this early in the year, it's got to mean something good.
It's gotten him improved. He's improved since then.
Hey, your spot's not safe, dude. Nope. I don't care how much money you're getting paid. Not under AJ Hinch.
Nope.
He will find somebody else to cheat for. I mean,
exactly, dude. Only 145 games left, so we're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting into the thicket of the season. And also, we were talking about this pre-show. Max Scherzer got absolutely screwed by the MLB umps today. I hope they're fine. I hope they're fired. I don't have Max Scherzer on my fantasy team, so that is not why I'm mad. For sure, not why I'm mad.
There's no way.
I definitely wouldn't. Just frustrated, man. Like, he just using the stuff that you supply for him. He's using the hard-earned sweat on his back. Can't even use it.
All you're allowed to do is use rosin and sweat, and not him. Anybody but Max Scherzer. Too much
sticky,
anger.
I guess. Too much sticky on his fingers. All right, everybody.
Sweat's too perfect.
That's going to be it for today's episode. We will be having a mock draft coming this weekend with Willie, because we know the draft is a week away. You're probably thinking, like, why did you guys not talk about the draft? Because we have a full episode dedicated to it this weekend. Look out for that. And we got to go finish watching the rest of this game. So, bye.
Peace.